This is AI Sportscast.
Welcome back to the AI Sportscast, part of the Open Source Podcast Network. Jay and Mike here, two-man show on a Friday night.
Cinco de Mayo.
Yeah, Cinco de Mayo. In the house. I don't drink. I know it's a big drinking holiday. I don't think that's what it was for, but a lot of people do.
It's independence. It's the Independence Day of Mexico. They beat the hell out of Spain to win their independence.
Exactly. But it's a big celebration holiday. People normally go out, have a good job, be responsible. Don't drink and drive.
I'd say if you're going to drink, please drink water. I had some sangria last night before I went to bed, and I forgot that I didn't really drink a lot of water during the day. And I got this pounding headache all night long. Drink water with your alcohol. As a matter of fact, you know, let's make a new rule. No drinking Sunday through Thursday. Friday and Saturday, go for it. Just stay hydrated. You can call me Papa Mike. I'm looking out for
Papa
you.
Mike.
Papa Mike. Papa Mike, rule number 1. No drinking Sunday through Thursday.
Sound advice from Mike.
Exactly. And then stay hydrated Friday and Saturday. You're going to need to.
And before we get into boxing, just a quick note. If It Geeks, It Speaks is back. They just posted a show tonight. They've been on almost a month hiatus. They are now back. They've talked about the new Cloak and Dagger show. They talked about Arrow. They talked about The Flash and Doctor Who. So definitely check it out on the Open Source Podcast Network. If It Geeks, It Speaks has a new podcast up. Now, we were going to start with talking about the big hype. How can I call this? The fight that's hyped up that shouldn't be hyped up, I guess.
It's like,
but before we get into that, Gamboa.
Yeah.
It's a wrap.
It's a wrap. Earlier today, because let's just say I quote Gamboa at the end of his career because he fought Alvarez back in March.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so maybe he fought too soon.
No, it wasn't March.
It wasn't March.
Earlier. It might have been.
Was it January?
January. Might have been January.
Maybe January. Anyway, I liked his fighting. I liked his style of fighting. He's a boxer. Boxing is an art, and he fought. And his style of boxing, it really appealed to me. Because it wasn't like this brutal, I'm going to knock you in the head, brawling type thing. It was actually technique and art. And he seemed fundamentally sound to me. And I liked his style. I mean, he's 35 years old, and he's a Cuban fighter. And Cuban fighters are known to be fundamentally sound boxers who they train to box. They don't train to be gladiators. And so his boxing style really appealed to me. And so he won easily that fight. And I just expected him to win the day, but he got knocked down twice. I think he got knocked down in the 4th and 5th round. And then he quit at the opening of the 7th round. And I'm like, he either fought too soon or it's over. And I'm not saying that everyone who's 35 is at the end of their career, but he's been doing this for a long time. So maybe it's time to call it quits. I think the one thing I don't like about boxing is that I think the appeal of it to be a brutal sport supersedes I think it's necessary for people to get back to the art of boxing, to the technique of boxing, to the elegance of boxing, and not the brutality of boxing. That way, these fighters can have long-term careers. If you're just standing in the middle of the ring and slugging it out, I'm like, what? You when you got what 7 years of doing that, and you're definitely going to have brain damage. I mean, let's get back to the art of boxing, where there's really technique involved, and fighters should only take measured risks. And that's the way Gamboa fought. That especially that Alvarez fight, that's what I saw, and that's what appealed to me. But I mean, he just didn't have it tonight, and maybe he doesn't have it anymore. I'm not sure. What do you say, Jay?
The thing with Gamboa, it's what hurt him in his career is that he always had like these long layoffs due to promotional issues, and then due to there were some people who was afraid to fight him because young Gamboa, I think he would have really liked, because he was really good. He was really good. A lot of people were scared to fight him. Mm-hmm. Good technician. And one thing about his fighting style though is that he always had these defensive lapses to where he would get caught with a punch and get knocked down. He'll get up, but it was just like it's a slip up in his defense. Mm. But I think the promotional thing that happened because he went with one company, then he went with 50 Cent's company, and then he was trying to get out of that, so he didn't fight. And he had all these long lapses in between fights. Mm-hmm. And I think that kind of took a lot away from his boxing career because his talent level where he was at, he should have had several title fights, not just like a title fight here and a title fight there.
Right.
If you're looking for like a technical boxing, that's what you like a fighter, you should check out. There's two that come to mind off the break if you like the technical stuff.
Right.
There's Terrence Crawford. That was the first guy to beat Gamboa. Really, really good. Can fight with both hands. He can switch up from left and right. He's got power. He's got speed, and he's a technician. So there's him, and then there's Andre Ward. Are probably the two fighters you'll probably enjoy watching.
Okay.
Ward's actually fighting Kovalev again in June. And Crawford, I think he's fighting this month.
And Jacobs. You can add Jacobs to the list. I think Jacobs is a good technician.
Yeah. Jacobs is a fighter. And when he first came out, I really didn't like him because it seemed like, he had it all together. But he's a guy that actually got better every single year that he's fought.
Right.
Every single year he's fought, he's gotten better and better and better. So, yeah, I mean, you can add him to the list as well. I think it's the end.
You think it's the end for Gamboa?
Yeah, I do because it's a lot of lost years. It was like lost because he been in any wars or anything. That was just more so that he just lost time because he just wasn't fighting.
Right.
He just wasn't fighting, and it sucked that he had all those promotional issues.
Yeah. Man, I mean, the one thing boxing does not take care of the fighters, and there needs to be strict rules and guidelines to how promoters can promote the fight and how money is dished out, because this is a brutal sport and the boxers should receive the bulk of the money. There needs to be specific guidelines. There needs to be drug testing. Boxing can do a whole lot better for the fighter. It just chooses not to. And that's disappointing because these guys really need protection.
But a good thing with boxing is that a lot of these boxers are becoming self-promoters now.
Good.
So where they are getting a lot of money. You see pretty much every fight you see now, it's like, for example, you got Miguel Cotto Productions or, Mayweather Promotions or Adrian Broner, About Billions Promotions. And a lot of these fighters are having their own brand now. Canelo has his.
Right.
Now, so, I mean, they have promoters who kind of set up the fights, but a lot of these guys now are getting most of their money. You still have some that are just getting, ripped off.
Right.
I mean, it's boxing. You've seen it's been going on for a long time, but I think a lot of people are getting to their own things quicker than what they used to.
They got
Of course,
to.
you got to get your foot in the door, so you got to get connected with someone.
Right. But this is I think, the boxing commission needs to do a better job at as far as governing who these fighters have to fight. And
that's terrible.
Yeah, they have to. They need to set up a schedule like the NBA and the NFL. Okay, you're fighting. You're the champion. Then you need to fight all top contenders. You need to fight the top 10 all the time, and you know who you're fighting coming into the year. And you gotta at least fight twice a year.
Well, it seems like most fighters, the top fighters fight between 2 and 3 times a year. The thing I do like the fighters now is that they're actually ignoring the mandatory. Now, if the mandatory is good, then yeah, they should fight someone. But a lot of times, it's a mandatory. It's like, oh, you got to fight some dude who's like ranked number 4 by the WBC, and that's your mandatory next fight. So a lot of what these fighters now do is try to make these super fights with other fights, because now you're seeing, good fights consistently now.
Right.
Because the last couple of years, you see like, okay, man, these two need to fight. These two need to fight. Now, I want to say maybe mid to late last year, you start to see all these fights coming in. And I'm not sure if you seen the fight last week, Joshua and Klitschko.
I didn't see that fight.
It was actually a pretty good fight. I mean, I don't think people's like, oh, it's one of the best fights. The heavyweight division is back. I wouldn't go that far, but it was good to watch. It was definitely, there was some action. It started off really slow in the beginning, and probably like halfway through the fight, it picked up. But that was a good fight. There's definitely some good fights coming up.
Okay. No, I just I'm definitely going to watch. I just wish boxing was better for the boxer, and it's just not. And
it's getting, as long as they're branching out and they're making their own promotion companies,
right?
Okay, and then what these fighters doing is actually getting the fighters underneath their promotion company,
right? And
they're starting to expand, and you start to see people grow and grow and grow. But yeah, I guess we got like 5 minutes left for. I mean, it's probably all we really need.
That's all we really need, exactly.
Yeah, because all right, tomorrow night you got Canelo and Chavez Jr. Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. is fighting Canelo Alvarez.
Is this pay-per-view?
Yeah, unfortunately, yes.
Oh, I mean, how much money are we talking about? I think I paid $62 for Triple G and Jacobs. I think I paid $60.
I don't know, but I know it's going to be free for me.
Well, because you're going to do the double clicking on the website. You're going to get with Stan.
You know it. You know it.
Man,
we got that down to a science.
Y'all got secret viruses on your computer. There's no way.
Man, my computer been running good. I don't know how long. I had this laptop for a minute. I ain't had no problems with it at all.
Man, y'all told me. I knew I was buying pay-per-view when Stan said, okay, this is what you do. You click on this. Don't click on the ad. Scroll down. Look to the left. Click on that button. Don't touch no ads again. Scroll up.
Right, don't click on the ad that says free $5,000.
Exactly.
Click here.
I'm like, I got to do all this clicking just to get to the fight. I'm like, I'll watch it on pay-per-view. I'll pay for it.
Science, man. It's a science. But this fight is so overhyped, man.
Now, is Canelo any good?
Canelo's really good. He's a really good fighter.
So Chavez Jr. should get beat?
Yes. Should and will. Here's the thing.
He's just a name. He's just a name. That's all he is. He's a name.
Well, here's the thing. The guy, Chavez had potential. Like, there were some good things when you look at him. Like, it shows that, he knows the technical things of it. But he didn't really take care of himself. He didn't really train hard. His defense is not great, but it could have been good enough. But you can tell, like, he never really took it seriously. So now it seems like, the way they're trying to hype it up is like, oh, now I take it seriously after all these fights I've had and the last couple of bad losses I had. Now I'm taking it seriously.
So we could be maybe what if he does take it seriously?
He's still going to lose.
He's still going to lose.
I'm going to tell you why.
All right, go for it.
Here's the thing. All right. Canelo, that's another guy that's like technical that you may like. Canelo, he's a good fighter. People don't like Canelo, and I'm not a fan of the fights that he picks. Mm-hmm. That's my problem with Canelo, is because he's always fighting at a catch weight. So instead of fighting in his division, he's fighting people like, okay, right now he's supposedly 160.
Okay.
Chavez is fighting at 168. I think he even fought a fight at like 175.
Okay.
So now they agreed to fight at 164. So you're making Chavez come down.
He's making it easy for himself.
Exactly. And then he's done it like the last couple of fights. He's had people meet him at this weight where he's only had to gain maybe like a pound or two, but those people coming down at least minimum 5 pounds.
He killed him.
Down. Exactly.
He killed him.
And then this guy who doesn't take it seriously all the time, you're making him come down in a way who has defensive lapses. It's just a tailor-made fight for Canelo, because Canelo does work to the body, he does work upstairs, he throws his punches well, and Chavez has a significant height advantage over him, a 3-inch reach advantage over him, but the way he fights kind of avoids it all out because he kind of crouches when he fights, so he's pretty much going to be at
Oh,
Canelo's
really?
level.
He's crouching down when he fights? That's not good.
It's like he kind of leans in, like
Right.
in his stance.
And so he gets
kind of
jabbed.
and he's coming forward. And then he jabs, but it's not like really a serious jab. It's almost like kind of a weird hook jab that he throws.
Right.
And he's just like super aggressive. He's trying to come in and make it a fight, which Canelo's going to eat him up because Canelo, like I said previously, does great body work. Canelo's going to pinpoint him. He's going to open it up. The work to the body is going to end up opening everything upstairs. I think this fight is going to end up, I don't think he's going to knock him out. I think it's going to get stopped at probably like round 8 or 9. I think as far as this fight goes.
So Chavez Jr. is bigger than his dad because
yeah, much bigger than his dad. He's fighting at super middleweight.
All right, man, this is it seemed like Chavez Jr. is taller. He has a reach advantage. Why doesn't his trainer just say stand upright and jab the hell out of this dude and we'll win? Just jab him. He's you know what? Every time he comes in, just hit him.
But see, Canelo's he's a really good fighter.
He's really that skilled.
He's skilled, and as much as the catch weight stuff that is true, the dude can fight.
He can still fight.
As much as you don't like Canelo, the dude can fight.
I got it. I think I'm gonna get this. Because I'm interested. I haven't seen Canelo fight, so I definitely want. If he's a technician, I want to see him. I definitely want to support that. I want to see Chavez Jr. fight. Maybe this is the fight he takes seriously. And maybe he uses all his advantages, and maybe he gets out of here without getting knocked out or stopping the fight. Maybe he makes it to the end of the fight.
I think he gets stopped.
Really?
Because it's just you got this guy coming down in weight, and his weight's been all over the place. This has been another problem for Chavez Jr. His weight's been all over the place. Where he doesn't make weight, he doesn't make weight. So he made weight tonight, and who knows how much he had to struggle to make weight.
Now
to get down to 164.
All right, now when was the last time he fought? How long has he been preparing for this fight?
I want to say he fought late last year.
All right, so let's say November. So he had from November to now to prepare for this?
But most of the time, it all depends on when the fight was announced. I think the fight was announced maybe 3 months ago.
No, you telling me you train. I saw Rocky. You train 12 months sometimes.
Fighters, no. So most fighters end up training maybe like 2 months away from the fight.
That's crazy, Jay. That's completely crazy. You can't.
I'm talking about like serious training. I mean, they're in shape, all the time. But when it gets down to it, when they go to like camp, most times it's like about, I want to say maybe 2-3 months away. It all depends on when the fight is announced and when they're actually fighting. So it varies.
Dog, Rocky Balboa went to Russia 6 months before the fight.
Well, 6 months for that fight because Drago was no joke. He killed Apollo.
He killed Apollo. Like
he had to go 6 months. He should have went longer. And maybe he wouldn't have got knocked all across the ring.
Exactly. Doug, I just, wow. If that's the case, then Chavez Jr. should lose if he's not well prepared for this fight. That's terrible, man. I'm like, I don't know. I mean, boxing, wow. 2 months of serious training? Well, I guess you got to stay fit all year, but then that don't seem like a lot of time to me to get ready for like a fight at this level. It's like you should have been training for 6 months, especially when you got to get down. I mean, you got to get down to this weight. So you want to get down, do you want to maintain it, or you want to feel healthy at this weight? At a minimum of 6 months. Because if at a minimum, Jay, because you can get your weight down and you can maintain it, but yeah, you need a minimum of 6 months to do that.
Fighters are training, pretty consistently, and I think that the 2 month thing is just like to really getting up to it, and you're studying the fighter style and all of that, and you're getting spar partners with it similar to that fighter style in that range because you know who you're fighting now. But I think most fighters have an idea what months that they're fighting in, because when now that you're getting back into, you'll see like people may say, I'm looking to around September to fight,
right?
And so they let you know, so they know in their mind, okay, well, I'm going to be straight now to get to that weight. And if they're the champion, then they're going to have all the leverage of picking who they want to fight.
Right.
So they're going to have a leverage of that. If you're just like, a regular average Joe or a B fighter or a C fighter, you're hoping to get picked for that fight. You don't know if you're going to get picked for that fight. So in the meantime, you could be training for a fight in your division. So if Canelo picks you and he's like, oh, well, you're going to come to me. Then you're like, oh, damn, I got to lose some more weight. Where Canelo's be like, I got this because I know what weight I'm fighting at.
Right.
So that's what kind of sucks about the whole catch weight thing.
I don't know, man.
Canelo's going to win.
I don't know, man. I just think
ignore the text string that's going on. Don't get bought into the hype.
Hey, dog, this is what I do know. It takes time to train. Clubber Lang watched Rocky's whole career and train his whole life. Train his whole life seriously to fight Rocky Balboa. So,
you know these people not real, right?
What? Rocky's real. There's a statue. There was a statue in Philadelphia. They don't put fake statues up of fictional characters in an American city, right? Right?
Yeah.
Right?
It happened.
Yeah, I'm like this really happened. Woman, when you looking for a real man, woman, why don't you come talk to me? Come back to my apartment, woman.
It's one of the classic movie characters, Clubber Lang.
It is.
Oh man, Rocky 3 was great.
But still, Rocky 2 is the best one ever.
Rocky 4 is my favorite because of the soundtrack.
Yeah, the soundtrack was great.
It was just a long music video with fighting.
That's exactly what it was. The music was great in Rocky 4. Well, Rocky 2 was my favorite because, hell, I'm like, Mick finally gave up. Rocky wasn't fighting no more. Adrian was in a coma, had to take care of baby. And she comes out the coma. She's like, when? Him and Mick, they go training. He didn't even want to fight Apollo. Apollo came after him. Apollo was picking at him. Apollo was messing with his family. Rocky ain't want to fight no more. He's like, I'm not fighting. They came after Rocky.
Everybody comes after Rocky except for Drago. Rocky came after him. He had to avenge.
He
avenged, right? Or did Drago come after him?
Well, Drago was coming after him, and he got to him through killing Apollo.
There you go. Yeah.
So everyone was coming after Rocky.
So that's what it takes. Thanks, Rocky. Why you just fight him in the first place? Apollo could still been alive.
But Adonis Creed, they need to do more with that. They need to do more.
Yeah, there's another one coming out.
That movie, we're going to end on a boxing movie and go to another movie, but Creed was just good. I'm like, Creed, why didn't they win an Oscar? I mean, Creed, Rocky was that good. Sylvester Stallone was that good. It was that good of a movie, man. It was that good. I loved it. I love it. It reminded me of the old Rockies, not like, that garbage Rocky 5. It was like, all right, this took me back to like
Rocky what?
Rocky 5. Rocky 5.
There was a Rocky 5?
There was a Rocky. Yeah, the dude. What's the dude? Okay. The real boxer was in it. The real boxer that had AIDS and doesn't have AIDS anymore.
Oh no, something happened to me that I thought that movie went out of my system. I didn't know it was a Rocky 5.
Yeah, it was a Rocky 5. I forget the dude's name.
Tommy Gunn.
Tommy Gunn.
Tommy Gunn. It was a street fight.
It was a street fight. Rocky had to knock him out in the street. And I guess Rocky should be a depressing movie. I mean, the dude goes from being heavyweight champion of the world to being ripped off and having no money to having to start all over again, going back to his old hood. He gets a restaurant and he makes his way. He loses his wife. He loses Paulie. And then, Apollo Creed's son come back. He trains. He's feeling good. And then he gets diagnosed with like lymphoma. And now he has to fight cancer. I'm like, the Rocky story is the ultimate story of courage under fire and not giving up. It's an awesome story. You children out there who haven't seen Rocky, you need to see Rocky 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, Creed 2. and keep going. But you don't have to watch Rocky 5. I wouldn't do that to anyone. All right, when we come
Rocky
back.
4.
Rocky 4. I said 1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no 5. No 5.
All right.
No 5. You don't got to see Rocky 5.
There you go. Yeah,
Balboa was good. I liked Balboa.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just Rocky 5. Rocky 5 wasn't that great. And I think the Rocky series has been Stallone's best movies. I think Rocky and then the first Rambo. And then I kind of like the second Rambo. I don't remember Rambo. No, was there a third Rambo?
Yeah, there were 3 Rambos.
There were 3 Rambos?
I believe so.
You know, coming up as a kid, man, those Rambo movies were awesome.
There were 4 because you remember they had the one that came out some years ago.
Oh, did they?
5, 6 years ago.
Oh,
yeah.
You know, I didn't see that one. I didn't see that. I didn't see that Rambo. But yeah, man, Stallone, Balboa. Check it out, kids. We'll be right back. You're listening to AI Sportscast.